Republican leaders are quite literally losing their minds in public as they're making appearances on various TV shows. They're like panicking on air. They're freaking out as more data is coming in, which shows overwhelmingly the American people are blaming Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans for this Trump government shutdown, and rightfully so. And as these MAGA Republicans are making these public appearances, they are letting it slip and revealing their true intentions all along, which is they want this Trump government shutdown for a few reasons. Number one, Donald Trump wants it to carry out his Project 2025 agenda. Let's face it, before this actual government shutdown, there was a de facto government shutdown as Donald Trump ripped apart our government. Also, Donald Trump wants to cover up the Epstein files, and the MAGA Republicans are refusing to swear in Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva while the government is shut down, and they're using that as an excuse. And also, they want to rip away the health care of tens of millions of Americans. They think that it is a better priority for them to use the money that should go to help people get health care to give tax cuts to billionaires. That's what's really going on. And they gave away the whole game during these public appearances. Let me go through this with you exhibit by exhibit and prove my point. You have MAGA Republican Congress member Jim Jordan. He was on CNN last night and he admitted that under no circumstances at all would he ever support extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies, meaning that he wants your monthly premiums to skyrocket, become unaffordable, causing medical bankruptcy and causing people to lose their insurance and die. He just admitted it last night. Watch this. Let's play the clip.
So you're against extending the subsidies?
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think we should look for other ways to improve health care for Americans, for families, and do it at a cheaper cost.
What could you do in the next 3 months that would change
Let's
that?
Let's have that debate. But right now,
Senator Bernie Sanders, I think, would like to have that debate with you.
Let's have that debate. We're for health savings accounts. We're for empowering people. We're for catastrophic health plans, making it easier access to them. We're for all those things that we think empower people and patients.
Then you have MAGA Mike Johnson seeming to just be having a jolly old time walking around the Capitol building. He's like the only MAGA Republican in the Capitol building as he instructed all of his colleagues to basically go home on a paid vacation. Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson ordered all Republicans in the House, do not show up to work, go on a paid vacation on the taxpayer dime so you don't talk to Democrats, yet alone negotiate with Democrats. But here, MAGA Mike Johnson lets everybody know that he's really angry at something. He's angry that Bad Bunny is going to be doing the halftime show at the NFL Super Bowl. He thinks that Lee Greenwood, who does those Bibles with Donald Trump, the Trump Bibles for $60, the sticky Bibles, that he should be doing the halftime show. What the hell are these people even talking about? Here, play this clip.
Any reaction to Bad Bunny being chosen as the Super Bowl halftime performance?
I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision in my view.
We're just gonna act like this ain't happening? I don't understand. I don't hear the noise on this one. I hear a lot of noise when it comes to immigrants, but now the government shut down and I'm not hearing anything. They done overspend all the money, gone, done. So they shut the shit down. You know who it's not affecting? It's not affecting the president and it's not affecting the members of Congress. Let me put you on game. The president and the member of Congress, their money is constitutional. It's protected and funded through mandatory spending. But you know who it's affecting? The poor working class people who have to show up to work and work until they figure it out. How long it's going to be? Who's going to pay their mortgage? Who is going to, buy food? They could just shut the shit down. But guess what? These poor working class people can't go to their bill collectors and tell them they ain't got the money this month. So how are we going to do this? Let me hear. Come, let's talk about this.
Hello for another day in America. Yes. So, yes, this is what you're having. Of course, another day in America, another showdown. Now, the lights flicker out in Washington and suddenly, millions of people are caught in the crossfire of politics. And of course, paychecks on pause, service frozen. And once again, the people are asking, how did we get here? Now, across the country, frustration is boiling over. And some are angry at Republicans for playing political games. Others say Democrats refuse to compromise. And many are just tired. So tired of being the collateral collateral damage in another Washington power struggle. So it's all of them. One poll says, of course, we blame everyone. For the first time, it feels like Americans are uniting, not by party, but by the exhaustion. Yeah. So the shutdown isn't just numbers or headlines, and it's human. Federal workers missing paychecks, families worrying about rent, college students wondering when their aid, is going to arrive, and at the IRS have this stuff full lodged or fall after rather at airport security lines stretching for hours. And meanwhile in the DC, the messaging war rages on. Both sides spin the story, and each blaming the other, while Americans scroll through the chaos wondering if anyone in power still remembers what really life looks like. So some say that the shutdown is leverage, a tactic to force change, but to most Americans, it just feels like a symptom of government more interested in winning the argument than serving the people. And each shutdown, rather, chips away a trust that the system works, trust that leaders care, trust that democracy still delivers, and of course, that more than any policy or bill is what really shutting down. So, America survived every shutdown before it survived this one too. But the question remains, how many more times can, the Americans keep restarting the same broken story? And maybe the real shutdown isn't in Washington. Maybe it's in people's willingness to believe that this is the best way they can go about it. Join me, because there are many sentiments and many quotes from different, perspectives, sampled clips together, courtesy of the creators. And of course, me and you, we're going to listen to them and we make our thoughts towards the end of this particular show, then run it up with my thoughts and yours as we try to find out what is really going on. See you at the end of it.
Raise your hand if you're experiencing what I'm experiencing right now. We're like, life is pretty good. It's, quote unquote normal. You got a job, you got a house, you got a family, whatever. And you go to work every day and you're doing the same thing. And it, for the most part, it's going good, but like something feels off. And you've been doing it for a while, but something feels off. And you're starting to get antsy for whatever reason. You're just not happy with the thing you're doing anymore. You're maybe not even happy with your house, even if it's a good house. This is me. I'm like not super happy with my house. I'm not super happy with my job. And it's like, what is that thing that's bothering me? And I had an epiphany thinking about it just now, that I think it's just burnout. And the reason why I'm burnt out is because I spent a decade of my life in the military, and every 2 to 4 years I got relocated. I was constantly getting sent into training. I've been deployed. I've been going here, going there. I'm used to an alarm going off and having to run out and go do the mission, and none of that's happening now. So it's like my subconscious is telling me that I'm waiting for this next thing. I'm waiting to like just have to spur of the moment and run and go do something, and it never comes. So it like gives me anxiety, and it doesn't feel right to have to like sit and do the same thing all the time over and over and over and over again. Right? Am I crazy? I mean, yeah, but like, does that make sense? So at least I understand where it's coming from, and maybe that'll help one of y'all. That's all. I'm just thinking out loud. All right.
Honestly, I feel bad because I literally just went to the grocery store, and my plan was to go in there and get food and groceries so I can meal prep for the week, right? So I can have meals already made, don't have to worry about cooking, whatever. And then honestly, I got so overwhelmed doing that shit because for one, the groceries was super high. I'm like, oh my God, why the fuck am I paying $13 for some mushrooms? It's crazy. $8 for a bag of green. Like, the groceries are super high. So I'm just like, at this point, I don't even feel like I can afford to feed myself 2 meals a day. It's not even about the money aspect. It's the money aspect too. Cause like, trust me, I just feel like overpaying for groceries is such a waste, especially vegetables. Like, come on now. Anywho's, but I'm like, I just feel like I can't afford the time. Like, I'm sitting here thinking like I literally just worked a 9-hour shift. Spent an hour and a half driving to work this morning, about to spend another hour and a half driving home. Then I have to get home, cook all of this food, pack all this food up, clean up afterwards. Like, I just feel like by the time I finish all that, it's going to be like 8, 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna have to go to bed again because I have to get up and go to work tomorrow. it just feels like a never-ending loop of constant things to do, and I just don't enjoy living my life like that. And I know people are gonna say that's a part of being an adult, but if y'all want that to be y'all reality, if y'all don't like the hustle bustle, constant rush, constant busy, this plans, schedule this, schedule, I don't like that. Like, I just want to be able to wake up and be free, like, and make my own decision and choose what I want for life. Like, this reality to me feels nothing like freedom at all. Like, you literally, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I just don't know no more. I don't know no more. I really don't.
Americans don't overconsume because we're greedy. It's because we're exhausted. So many people are tired, overworked, and exhausted to the point of like coping through overconsuming. And billionaires like us in this position because not only can we not properly advocate for ourselves when we're like this, but they also get to make money.
Please realize that when I say I don't like Donald Trump and I don't like the people who voted for him, it is not because of political reasons. It is for morality reasons. And if you're someone who voted for him and you're starting to see the light, it's cool. Just, say it. Say, okay, I made a mistake and where do we go from here? There's plenty of us over here that are ready and with arms wide open to welcome you. We don't like having to cut you out. We miss our family. We miss our friends. We want you here with us. But we also need to know that you're going to be standing by us. And so far, none of you have shown us that. So if you truly, truly are good people and you really do want to help this country, there's a protest coming up next Labor Day. Well, it's coming up Labor Day. There's also, if protests aren't your thing, there's Blackout the System. Look it up. There's plenty of websites right now that are talking about it. You can also just reach out to your family and friends and say, hey, look, I get why you're upset. And what can I do to help make it better? What can I do to show you that I do care and that I'm not a racist, sexist, homophobe? Because trust me, a lot of us, when you guys voted the way you did, we were shocked. We really thought that this time it was going to be different. And a lot of us are still just kind of numb and recovering from that. And a lot of us are nice people and we don't want to speak out because we don't want to hurt your feelings. But the time for that is over. And to those of you who didn't vote for Trump, it's time to start talking to your family and friends. Just say, hey, I get that you voted for him, but we need to fix this. This is our country. And our country is going to be what we make of it. And if we sit aside and are quiet while we become a police state, we're going to end up a lot like Russia and a lot like Nazi Germany. And that's not where I want to be headed. And I sure as hell hope it's not where you want it to go either. So let's rise up together. I hope to see you out there.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck, and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make 75 grand a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Imagine working for the government and getting your paycheck all depends on if the president likes you. Welcome to America 2025. So we're on day 7 of the shutdown, and now the president is floating around this idea that furloughed employees, the government employees that are still working but not getting paid, may never get paid. That's right. You're going to show up and do your job and do everything you're supposed to do, but the president is talking about not paying you anyway. Why? Oh, he said if he don't like you, you shouldn't get paid. So apparently this ain't about work no more. This is a popularity contest. Since when does a paycheck come with a do they like me survey? Do you clock in every morning to make friends? No, you go to pay bills, feed your kids, and to keep your lights on. But Republicans say if you don't make them feel warm and fuzzy, you and your kids can starve. That's what the president of the United States just told you. If I don't like you, you don't deserve to be okay. And Republicans co-sign it. They're saying the quiet part out loud. We don't like you, and because we don't like you, whatever happens to you is absolutely fine. The kicker is you're funding this circus with your own tax dollars. You're literally paying people to abuse you. So tell me, how does any of this make any sense?
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for.
What do you want me to do? Be specific. Tell me exactly what the fuck you want me to do. And I dare you to look at my content and tell me I don't have fucking empathy. Matter of fact, I made a video after all this shit went down back in like December or November and said, hey, it's not too late, y'all. If you fucked up, you gotta know shit's going south. We still have time for y'all to make some calls, for you to get on the right side of history here. And do you know what they fucking told me? They told me to shove it up my ass. They called me a fucking groomer. They told me I was a child abuser, a fucking snowflake, all that shit. That's what they fucking said to me. And now I'm supposed to what? Have some kind of patriotic empathy because I don't want our country to go down? No, the fuck I don't want our country to go down. But I don't give a fuck about the people who caused it. I don't care. They didn't care about my student loan debt, which by the way is 120 grand and fucking climbing. They don't give a shit about fucking poor people. They sure as fuck don't give a shit about my child. They fucking hate him. And that's part of the reason they fucking voted the way that they did. So what exactly? I need you to be specific with a fucking game plan, because all it sounds like right now is that you're on here just talking about, oh, nobody's empathetic, and what about our country? What fucking about it? What do you want me to do? What do you want any of us to fucking do? We fucking voted. We fucking registered voters. A lot of us worked on campaigns. We screamed from the fucking rooftops that this was bad. And they said, oh no, I love Trump. This is great. It's going to be great. Make America great again. So they can fucking fail and they can fucking starve along with us. Hope that helps, homie.
Hello, tribe. Hello once again. So, at the end of the day, this shutdown isn't just about budgets or politics. It's about people. Let's get that one straight. It's about people. And and families missing paychecks, students waiting for help, small business left, hanging. Americans aren't asking for perfection, they're asking for leadership. Real leadership, the kind that remembers the human cause behind every political battle. And of course, because when Washington shuts down, America doesn't stop. The people keep going, but the question is, how long can they keep carrying the weight while those in power keep playing the game? And maybe it is time the government remembered who is supposed to work for not the parties, not the polls, but the people. So, guys, and this is where now I also come up with my leave alone that particular analysis that I just read. This is where exactly the real talk. We really need to do the real talk here. And I hope if you followed up to this particular very end, then you must have you are a very special person up to this particular end. And it looks like the dynamics are shaping up a certain picture. And even as we're seeing these particular raids, and even in some states, they are aggressively getting that opposition that they don't need any of these particular ICE agents, raiding their own territory. So staging that particular weak stance, what I should just call it weak stance against the government, that is, should tell us, or should tell you something big is cooking. That there are other quarters that are not really borrowing or not really buying the idea of forcefully detaining the immigrants, even those ones who've got the right legal papers to be around, simply because of their physical, how they look, maybe then they're just a suspect, and later on it turns out maybe they had legit papers and they were legitimate. And that is something. It is already an embarrassment up to the particular very end, and people are still afraid to go out there. And at the same time, we've got all this particular shutdown. Federal government, can imagine all those particular departments and sectors that are going home without a paycheck. It's painful. It's painful. Drop in your comments on the comment section. Let that conversation continue if you really feel me. And above all, try to see you in the next one. Adios.